नाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna. So we'll start with, I think, verse number, done up verse number 32nd, I think. Yeah, we'll do it 33 now. Okay. So it was explained how the Malyadhwaj married by Dharbi, they had how many sons? 7 and 1 daughter. Okay. And the daughter was married to whom? Agastya. Agastya represents what? Mind. And the daughter represents taste. Taste. Yeah, Ruchi. Okay. Yeah. So now after this, they retire to forest. Vivajyatena yabhiksham. Vibhajyaten ye bhikshamam raja rishi malaya dhvaja ariradeshu krishnam sa jagama kulachalam. Yeah. Translation.
After this, the great saintly king Maledhwaj divided his entire kingdom among his sons. Then, in order to worship Lord Krishna with full attention, he went to a solitary place known as Kulachal.
Okay. Purport.
Purport. Maledhwaj, the great king, was certainly Mahabhagavat, topmost devotee. By executing devotional service, he begot many sons and disciples for propagating the bhakti cult, Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Actually, the entire world should be divided among such disciples. Everyone should be engaged in preaching the cult of Krishna consciousness. In other words, when disciples are grown up
we start reaching somewhere, already starts expanding and expanding. More and more services, more and more responsibilities. That is the main gist. That is the only way, it is, Krishna says to Uddhav also, that what is the best way of giving dakshina? Dakshina Jnana Sandesha. Okay. We do Guru Dakshina. Guru Dakshina means whatever knowledge I have received from the spiritual masters, I should distribute it. That is the best dakshina we can give to the spiritual master. That way, the disciplic succession is continued. So if in between the disciples become irresponsible, then everything is lost. So we can see Prabhupada's disciples, they are so loyal to Prabhupada that after they have Prabhupada left this planet, the movement is expanding. It's a very rare thing. When the founder Acharya goes, now the movement slumps, now the movement is expanding. So that means it is out of love for the spiritual master. Okay, so this is the main thing. We all should pray that we can take more and more responsibilities to praise our Guru Maharaj, right? That is the main gist. And then he went to Kulachala. Kulachala means it was a place which is suitable for bhakti, where they can put full attention. Okay. And then Vedharvi also followed. Hitva grahan sutan bhogan Vedharvi madhirakshana anvadhavat padyesham jyotsana ev rajani karam. Yeah.
Just as the moon shade follows the moon at night, immediately after the king Malayadwaja departed for Kulachala, his devoted wife, whose eyes were enchanting, followed him, giving up all homely happiness despite family and children.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, you can see commentary also.
Just as the wife serves the husband by rejecting enjoyment, the disciple engages in service to Guru by hearing and chanting, giving no regard even to solitary places, grihan, which could give rise to the bliss of prema, bhogan, in order to attain with ease the perfection of all goals by serving Guru. This is the teaching in this verse. Mad means exciting. Ira means message or the Vedas. Her glance was always in the Veda, which gave joy since the Vedas say that service to Guru is the highest. Jiva Goswami says that Madhira means the Lord who gives joy. She had a glance always in the form of the Lord who gives joy. The meaning, according to the story, is that she had ever youthful glances in her eyes.
Yeah. So that means we should just serve Guru without expecting any self-perfection. That is a perfection. Irrespective of the place, time, I will just serve Guru. That is the perfection. It's not that I should worry where I get perfection. Prabhupada will explain more. Please. Purport. Full.
Just as in the Vanaprastha stage, the wife follows the husband. Similarly, when the spiritual master retires for Nirjana Bhajan, some of his advanced devotees follow him and engage in his personal service. In other words, those who are very fond of family life should come forward in the service of the spiritual master and abandon so-called happiness afforded by society, friendship, and love. A verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this Gurvashtaka is significant in this regard. Yasha Prasada Bhagavad Prasada. A disciple should always remember that by serving the spiritual master, he can easily advance in Krishna consciousness. All the scriptures recommend that it is by pleasing the spiritual master and serving him directly that one can attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service. The word Madhirekshana is also significant in these words. Srila Goswami has explained in this Sandarbha that the word Madhira means intoxicating. If one's eyes become intoxicated upon seeing the deity, he may be called Madhirekshana. Queen Vaidarbhi's eyes were very enchanting, just as one's eyes were Madhirekshana when engaged in seeing the temple deity. Unless one is an advanced devotee, he cannot fix his eyes on the deity in the temple.
Okay. Yeah. So we should try to practice to meditate more and more on all the limbs of the deity, as Lord Kapil Dev explains in his third canto. So more we gradually focus our sight on the different limbs of the deities, our intelligence gets purified. Okay. Tatra Chandravasa Nama Tamar Varni Matodaka Tama Punya Shalile Nityam Ubhayatatmano Mrijan Kandashtabhi Pushpa Parne Strinodaka Vartamana Shanai Gatra Karshanam Tap Asthita. Yeah.
In the province of Kulachal, there were rivers named Chandravasa, Tamraparni, and Vatodaka. King Maladhwaj used to go to those pious rivers regularly and take his bath there. Thus he purified himself externally and internally. He took his bath and ate bulbs, seeds, leaves, flowers, roots, fruits, and grasses, and drank water. In this way, underwent several austerities. Eventually, he became very skinny.
Yeah. This is commentary also you did. Internally and externally.
Internally and externally, Ubhayatra, he washed away impurities. As in the case of Prithu, his intense austerity arose from his great eagerness for the Lord.
Yeah. So more we are eager for the Lord, more willingly we will perform austerities. Right? Purport, please.
We can definitely see that to advance in Krishna consciousness, one must control his bodily weight. If one becomes too fat, it is to be assumed that he is not advancing spiritually. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur severely criticized his fat disciples. The idea is that only who intends to advance in Krishna consciousness must not eat very much. Devotees used to go to forests, high hills, or mountains on pilgrimage, but such severe austerities are not possible in these days. One should instead eat only prasad, not and no more than required. According to Vaishnava calendar, there are many fasts such as Ekadasi and the appearance and disappearance days of God and His devotees. All of these are meant to decrease the fat within the body, so that one will not sleep more than desired and will not become inactive and lazy. Overindulgence in food will cause a man to sleep more than required. This human form of life is meant for austerity, and austerity means controlling sex, food, intake, etc. In this way, time can be saved for spiritual activity, and one can purify himself both externally and internally. Thus, both body and mind can be cleansed.
It all depends on our desire. If we have good desire to progress, then automatically one follows this. Okay. शीतोष्णवात वर्षाणि क्षुत पिपासे प्रिया प्रिये सुख दुखे इति द्वंद्वानि अजयत समदर्शनम.
Through austerities, King Maladhwaja in body and mind gradually became equal to the dualities of cold and heat, happiness and distress, wind and rain, hunger and thirst, the pleasant and the unpleasant. In this way, he conquered all relativities.
Yeah, purport.
Liberation means becoming free from relativities of the world. Unless one is self-realized, he has to undergo the dual struggle of the relative world. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to conquer all relativities to tolerance. Lord Krishna points out that it is the relativities like winter and summer that give us trouble in the material world. In the winter, we do not like taking bath. But in the summer, we wish to take a bath twice, thrice, or more a day. Thus, Krishna advises not to be disturbed by such relativities and dualities when they come and go. The common man has to undergo much austerity to become equipoised before dualities. One who becomes agitated by the relativities of life has accepted a relative position and must therefore undergo the austerities prescribed in the Shastras to transcend the material body and to put an end to material existence. King Maladhwaja underwent severe austerities by leaving his home, going to Kulachal, taking his bath in the sacred rivers, and eating only vegetables like stem, roots, seeds, flowers, and leaves, avoiding any cooked food or grains. These are very, very austere practices. In this age, it is difficult to leave home and to go to forest or the Himalayas to adopt the process of austerity. Indeed, it is almost impossible if one is even advised to give up eating, drinking, gambling, and illicit sex. One will fail to do so. What then would a person do if he went to the Himalayas or Kulachal? Such acts of renunciation are not possible in this age. Therefore, Lord Krishna has advised us to accept the Bhakti Yoga process. Bhakti Yoga will automatically liberate a person from the dualities of life. In Bhakti Yoga, Krishna is the center and Krishna is always transcendent. Thus, in order to transcend dualities, one must engage in the service of Lord, as confirmed by Bhagavad Gita 26. Mam cha vicharana bhakti yogena sevate sarvam samiti vedam sarvogaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus one comes to the level of Brahman. If one is actually engaged in the service of the Lord, Bhakti Yoga, he will automatically control his senses, his tongue, and his so many other things.
So Prabhupada is writing the word factually, you know. So many times Prabhupada write this factually or actually. In Nectar of Instruction, verse 5 purport. Many times Prabhupada is one is actually Krishna conscious, one is actually Krishna conscious. That means just being the member, just being a part of this society, one is not Krishna conscious. So one has to put conscious and cautious efforts to become Krishna conscious. You know, it's not just by being in the ashram, I'm Krishna conscious. Okay. So if one is factually engaged in the service of the Lord, Bhakti Yoga, he will automatically control his senses, tongue and this. Right? Once engaged in Bhakti Yoga process with all sincerity, you know, one will have no chance of falling down. Very powerful statement, you know. Okay. So how the Bhakti Yoga will help us, our day-to-day practices of Krishna consciousness will help us to overcome dualities, relativities of this world. Prabhupada says we cannot, you know, go to the forest or Himalayas. So it's not possible. You know, and we are not performing such kind of austerities. In fact, in Brahmacharya ashram we have more facilities than in the house of ashram. Such wonderful prasad every day with time we get to take honor prasad. I don't think in any household must be having such kind of facility. That too on the right on time, very hot. You know, it's served very hot, right on time. So we don't have any austerity as such. So how to reconcile this? Just by performing Krishna consciousness, we can overcome dualities and the relativities of this world.
It helps us to develop right attitude to face dualities.
How practically, like how day-to-day activities, you know, we're not performing austerities like Malyadhwaj and Vedharvi.
Because Krishna consciousness activity on the level of soul.
But practically for us, that Prabhupada is explaining Krishna is transcendental, put Krishna in the center. So like our day-to-day activities, how it helps us to overcome dualities. Summer, winter, okay, in Bombay there is no summer, winter. But sometimes summer, winter, heat, cold, honor, dishonor, how...
Understanding the purpose behind for whose pleasure we are doing.
Yeah.
Whether it's my own comfort or it's my for the pleasure of Guru or rather as Piri.
Yeah.
That purpose makes things to understand. Like even though we face such kind of things,
Yeah.
relativities, we can go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Prabhu.
During the marathon, I experienced, Prabhu.
Yeah.
We went to this northern part of India.
Yeah.
It's so cold, but we can see the mercy is flowing on Srila Prabhupada when we a little endeavor
Yeah.
to pleasing Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
And we some strength, we go dualities of this cold and winter hard. Just go and do this, we should this marathon.
Yes. I was thinking on the same example. Yeah. So when we go out, when we have a missionary spirit, when we go out, distribute books, we're not bothered whether it's cold, hot, you know. And sometimes in Jagannath Rath Yatra is there, it's raining, still the devotees are pulling the chariot, they're dancing, you know. Sometimes it's very hot, humid season, still we are going out, we are dancing. So if you just put service in the center, or if you put mission in the center, it will help us to overcome dualities. But if you just take it out of the center, put our selfish needs in the center, then it's very difficult. It's always very much important that we always keep mission ahead. So we can see known as Gopal Swami Maharaj. He's always put the mission ahead. Japtaka Swami Maharaj. They're always keeping the mission ahead. That's why, despite having so many physical challenges, they were continuing. Because the mission is first. Guru's pleasure is first. So otherwise, if we keep on hearing our body's needs, mind's needs, too many demands. We'll always look for comforts, and it's not possible. So that's why Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada also, see, 70-year-old, extreme winter in New York, he went there and he tolerated everything. That is the thing, right? Okay. Tapsa videya pakva kashayo niyame yame yuje brahmani atmanam vijita lakshaninashaya. Yes.
By worshipping, executing austerities, and following the regulative principles, King Malayadwaja conquered his senses, his life, and his consciousness. Thus, he fixed everything on the central point of Supreme Brahman, Krishna.
Yeah. So he could fix his mind. Okay. So that is okay. Brahman means Vasudeva. Aste sthanun ivaikatra devyam varsha shatam sthira Vasudeve bhagavati nanyad vedo dohan ratim. Yes.
In this way, he stayed immovable in one place for 100 years by by calculation of the demigods. After this time, he developed pure devotional attraction for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and remained fixed in that position.
Yeah. So now he develops rati, he develops love for God. Purport, please.
Bhaknam janmanam ante
Prapadyate Mahatma Sudurlabha.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is everything. And one who knows this is the greatest of all transcendentalists. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that one realizes this after many, many births. This is also confirmed in this verse with the word Divyam verse Shatam. 100 years according to the calculation of the demigods. According to the calculations of the demigods, one day, 12 hours, is equal to 6 months on earth. 100 years of the demigods would equal 36,000 earth years. Thus, King Malayadwaja executed austerities and penances for 36,000 years. After this time, he became fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. To live on earth for so many years, one has to take birth many times. This confirms the conclusion of Krishna. To come to the conclusion of Krishna consciousness and remain fixed in the realization that Krishna is everything, as well as render service unto Krishna, are characteristics of the perfectional stage, as stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Kritana. When one comes to the conclusion that Krishna is everything, by worshipping or by rendering devotional service unto Krishna, one actually becomes perfect in all respects. Not only must one come to the conclusion that Krishna is everything, but he must remain fixed in this realization. This is the highest perfection of life, and it is this perfection that King Malayadwaja attained at the end.
So Prabhupada is saying that it may take many births. But Prabhupada has also said by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it can be accomplished in one life also. That is the power of Sankirtan movement. Okay. Otherwise, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanonam Prapadyate. Vasudevam Sarvati Samatma Sudurlabha.
The Bhakti Shastri is happening.
Acha. Okay. So, yes. So, if we wholeheartedly take part in the Sankirtan movement, then the perfection is possible in one life only. Okay. So, this is a wonderful opportunity all of us have, that just give 100% to the Sankirtan movement, then we can come to this. Prabhupada says, Not only must one come to the conclusion that Krishna is everything, but he must remain fixed in this position. Especially for the brahmacharis, it is very, very wonderful opportunity for all of us. No other business, just serving the Sankirtan movement, that's all. No other business. Okay. In Rama lecture, Prabhupada is saying, brahmachari is everything for Krishna. Nothing is mine. Even I am not, mine is not mine. Even I am not mine. I forgot the exact word. Even I am self, doesn't belong to me. Everything belongs to Guru and Krishna. That way. That kind of spirit, by Prabhupada's mercy, if we can cultivate.
So in this, Maharaja refers to spiritual master or the story?
Story is there, but for his wife, he's a spiritual master.
Right.
And then his sons also, he distributed his land to his sons, his kingdom to his sons. The sons are what? The 7 parts of the 7 limbs of devotional service. So in a way, disciples.
Puranjan becomes Puranjani.
Yeah,
And then Puranjani comes under the shelter of a spiritual master.
yeah, Malyadhvaj.
In that way.
Yeah.
And perfects.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sa vyapakatayatmanam vyatirektayatmani vidvana swapna ivamarsha sakshi nama vidaramaha.
King Malayadhwaja attained perfect knowledge by being able to distinguish the super soul from the individual soul. The individual soul is localized, whereas the super soul is all pervasive. He became perfect in knowledge that the material body is not the soul, but the soul is the witness of the material body.
Yeah. Purport, Prabhu.
The conditioned soul is often frustrated in trying to understand the distinctions between the material body and the super soul and the individual soul. There are 2 types of Mayavadi philosophers, the followers of Buddhist philosophy and the followers of Shankara philosophy. The followers of Buddha do not recognize that there is anything behind the body. The followers of Shankara conclude that there is no separate existence of the Paramatma, the super soul. The Shankarites believe that the individual soul is identical with the Paramatma in the ultimate analysis. But the Vaishnava philosopher, who is perfect in knowledge, knows that the body is made of external energy, and that the super soul, the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is sitting with the individual soul and is distinct from him. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, Kshetrajnam cha vimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnyo jnanam yatra jnanam matam mama. O saint of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all the bodies. And to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. The body is taken to be the field, and the individual soul is taken to be the worker in that field. Yet there is another who is known as super soul, who along with the individual soul simply witnesses. The individual soul works and enjoys the fruits of the body, whereas the super soul simply witnesses the activities of the individual soul, but does not enjoy the fruits of activity. The super soul is present in every field of activity, whereas the individual soul is present in his one localized body. King Maladhwaja attained the perfection of the knowledge, he was able to distinguish between the soul and super soul, the soul and the soul.
Yeah. Okay. Sakshat Bhagavad Uktena Garuna Harina Nipa Vishuddha Jnana Deepena Sfurata Vishwato Mukham.
In this way, King Maladhwaja attained perfect knowledge because in his pure state he was directly instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By means of such enlightening transcendental knowledge, he could understand everything from all angles of vision.
Yeah, okay. So now he's reached the stage of prem. Okay. You can see this Vishwanath Josh's commentary, how he reaches the prem. Yeah. Then the prem arose.
Then when Prema arose, he saw the Lord directly, by the Supreme Lord, who takes away all suffering. Harina, with bright effulgence spreading everywhere. Vishwapat Mukham Surata, and by the lamp of knowledge, the means of realizing the Lord's sweetness. What is taught by the Guru, one sees himself as the possessor of Rati, the Supreme Brahman. Atmanam Pare Brahmani. Because it has already been said, Vasudeva Bhagavati Nanya Videho Bhagavati. He saw only that he had Rati for Vasudeva. The Lord also says, Ye yatamam prapadyante tam tataiva vajamyaham. According to how they surrender to me, I reward them. From Bhagavad Gita 4.11. Thus he saw the Lord is to be full of attraction for him. Atmani Parabrahman. At that moment, giving up the world because of changing in bliss, he lost interest in grass and sexual covering completely. For those who favor the legal aspect of the Lord experience the three verses in the following way. He, knowing the Supreme Lord, Atmana, as all pervading, also situated within the Jiva, give up the samsara. An example is given for each vision. All pervasiveness of the Lord is similar to the witness of reflection. The mind, which spreads throughout the body of the Jiva, the Lord within is similar to realizing in deep sleep that it is only the Atma. For one says, I slept soundly. In the deep sleep state, there is a realization of only the Atma, separate from body. How does this knowledge arise? It arises from the Lord who is the witness. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayandite. I give intelligence by which one attains me. Bhagavad Gita 10:10. The lamp of that knowledge one sees in the Supreme Lord, who is the Asraya Tattva, the pure Jiva who takes shelter of the Lord, and he sees in the pure Jiva, you, the Supreme Lord, presiding over the Jiva. After attaining Prema, one gives up the process of reflection, Vihaya Iksham. Because the Bhagavatam is like Mohini Avatara, giving nectar to the devotees and cheating the demons. Others interpret these verses differently. The devotees do not accept those interpretations.
Very straight. He had the darshan of the Lord. Those who are jnani, they go this way. And he first saw Jivatma, then he realized Paramatma, then he gave up that realization. So it's a different interpretation. The simple is he had first developed bhava and then he developed prem. Prabhupada's commentary also.
In this verse, the words Sakshat Bhagavato Krishna Karuna are very significant. The Supreme Personality of God is direct to the individual soul, and the devotee has purified himself by offering devotional service to the Lord. Krishna Bhakti is also in Bhagavad Gita 10:7.
Bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te.
To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. The Lord, the Super Soul, stated in everyone's heart and seated in everyone's heart, and he acts as the Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within. However, he gives direct instructions only to the advanced pure devotees. In the beginning, when the devotee is serious and sincere, the Lord gives him directions from within to approach a bona fide spiritual master. When one is trained by the spiritual master according to the regular principles of devotion, inner service, and is situated on the platform of spontaneous attachment for the Lord, Raga Bhakti, the Lord also gives instructions from within. Tesham tatat yuktanam bhajadam priti purvakam. This distinct advantage is obtained by a liberated soul. Having attained this stage, King Malayadwaja was directly in touch with the Supreme Lord and was receiving instructions from him directly.
Okay. So in a way, he had a darshan of the Lord, and he was getting internal instructions also. Okay. So now we see where Dharvi represents a
in sadhaka stage, at what stage one can see that is getting inspiration from within, or how what we can experience our own life?
So sadhaka stage, first we'll approach a spiritual master and we'll always consider ourselves as sadhaka only.
Okay.
Whatever inspiration is coming from within, we get it cross-checked with our senior Vaishnavas.
So again, the question is, senior Vaishnava, he also has to be take direction from the Supreme Lord. If he is able to take, then he can only tell if the person is able to take or not.
Yeah.
Just because age he is senior, then he's not
Not-
able to understand. How can he? My question, you understand?
Yeah, I understood.
He is so-called senior. He is so-called senior. Is not able to connect.
Everyone understood, I think.
So for everyone, I guess. He is so-called senior. By age is senior, but he is not able to receive the Krishna Parama, the touching. Somebody junior, he may be touching. How then approach that?
Yeah. So if one is sincere, Krishna will send help. Don't worry, madam. Because if I'm really getting the message from Krishna, so Krishna is also very desperate. My instruction should be executed. So he'll send help to some way or other. Okay. It happens, you know. So better is, otherwise if we start thinking like this, we'll commit many offenses. How do I know he's getting inspiration or not? प्रभु ये कैसे माना पर आपको कैसे मालूम चला? कैसे मालूम आपका परमात्मा से connection? मैं तो नहीं मानता. We can tell this to our guru also. Why should I believe that you have a connection with spiritual master? That's super soul. I mean, you are right. If I am acting as a senior somewhere, so my junior will also be thinking like this. Okay.
When the question is coming thinking, but everything is written in the scriptures, we can easily judge
Yeah,
the
because-
qualities,
yeah,
even
yeah.
the scriptures,
Yeah.
the symptoms.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
cannot easily see.
We can
see
easily
that.
judge. So
It's
that's
not
why,
mental impression.
yeah, that's
Scriptures are-
yeah. But sometimes our mind will also cheat us, you know.
Yeah. Many times.
Many times,
Sometimes.
because if the senior authority is not, their actions are not pleasing to us, we are feeling disturbed. So we'll say, no, he's not behaving as per the scriptures. We can easily say, we'll reject it. This is Kali Yuga, the whole atmosphere is surcharged with doubts. Everywhere, everyone is doubting each other. There is no trust. So it's a very dangerous atmosphere. Still, to remain safe, that's why Prabhupada says collective decision making. So we can cross-check with one or two more senior Vaishnavas and read scriptures. And if we are praying sincerely, Krishna inspires. Yeah, that is the. Otherwise, and if I am acting as an authority, then it is my responsibility that I should make myself as transparent as possible. I can take my responsibility. I cannot just pass judgment on others. But for myself, if I am acting as an authority, so it's my responsibility that I should be very transparent. Otherwise, I will be doing injustice to everyone. You know. And for others, I give them fair benefit of doubt, give them respect. But still, if they are grossly, we can see some mistakes, and their mistakes are against the mission, then we should be very careful. It's not a blind faith also, that way. Yeah. Pare Brahmani Chatmanam Param Brahma Tathatmani Vikshamano Vihayeksham Asmad Opraramaha.
King Maladaj could thus observe that the super soul was sitting by his side, and that he as the individual soul was sitting by the side of the super soul. Since both were together, there was no need for separate interests. Thus he ceased from such activities.
Yeah, purport please.
In advanced stage of devotional service, the devotee does not cease anything separate between his own interests and those of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both interests become one, for the devotee does not act for a separate interest. Whatever he does in the interest of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At that time, he sees everything in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything. Having attained the stage of understanding, he sees no distinction between the spiritual and material worlds. In perfect vision, the material world becomes a spiritual world to its being the external energy of the Supreme Lord. For the perfect devotee, the energy and the energetic are not different. Thus, the so-called material world becomes spiritual. Sarva Khalva Idam Brahma. Everything is intended for the service of the Supreme Lord. And the expert devotee can utilize any so-called material thing for the Lord's service. One cannot serve the Lord without being separated on the spiritual platform. Thus, if a so-called material thing is dovetailed in the service of the Lord, it is no longer to be considered material. Thus, the pure devotee in his perfect vision sees from all angles.
Yeah. Patim param dharmagyam vaidarbhimaladhvajam premna paricharaditva bhogan sa pati devata.
The daughter of King Vaidarbha accepted her husband all in all as supreme. She gave up all the sensual enjoyment and in complete renunciation followed the principles of her husband, who was so advanced. Thus, she remained engaged in his service.
So, Vishwanath Thakur is saying, the disciples remain serving the Guru until attaining perfection. That is shown in 4 verses. The next 4 verses, there is instructions for all of us how a disciple should serve the spiritual master. Okay, purport please.
Figuratively, King Malayadwaja is a spiritual master and his wife Vaidarbhi is a disciple. The disciple accepts the spiritual master as the supreme personality of God, as stated by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur in Guru Ashtaka, Sakshat Parikshaya. One directly accepts the Guru, the spiritual master, as the supreme personality of God. One should accept the spiritual master not in the sense of that the Mayavadi philosophers do, but in the way recommended here. Since the spiritual master is the most confidential servant of the Lord, he should be treated exactly like the Supreme Personality of God. The spiritual master should never be neglected or disobeyed like an ordinary person. If a woman is fortunate enough to be the wife of a pure devotee, she can serve her husband without any desire for sense gratification. If she remains engaged in the service of her exalted husband, she will automatically attain the spiritual perfection of her husband. If a disciple gets a bona fide spiritual master, simply by satisfying him, he can attain similar opportunities to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So we saw the example of Dehuti and Kardamani. Dehuti so menially served Kardamani. Kardamani said, whatever realization I had, I give it to you. That was the power. Similarly, we see there's Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. He had that servant Bihari. So he was illiterate. So Jagannath Babaji once told him, just read Chaitanya Charitamrita. He said, I'm illiterate. He said, I'm telling you to read. He opens and starts reading that. So anything can happen by the mercy of the spiritual master. You must have heard of that also. Madhvacharya, bull. So they began Hridaya Prakashita. So it's all on a transcendental platform. So Prabhupada's writing very last and very powerful. If a disciple gets a bona fide spiritual master, simply by satisfying him, he can attain a similar opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So there's no dearth of, in our society, there's no dearth of bona fide spiritual master, but there may be dearth of bona fide disciple. So one has to become a bona fide disciple only. So we are very fortunate. All the spiritual masters are connecting us to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada, we are on his status. So we are very fortunate. Now, only job for me is now to become a good disciple. That's all. That is the purpose of my life now, to become a good disciple. If I become a good disciple, I'll definitely get an opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, that's all. This is my mission of life, to become an ideal disciple or a bona fide disciple, right? So the challenge in becoming bona fide disciple is again our mind. So mind again and again, shows different pictures, and so many. It's such a simple thing, but it becomes so difficult in this age of Kali Yuga. What are your opinions? In one line, it's nothing else. You must become a disciple. You will go back to Godhead. You will see Krishna face to face. But it's not so easy to become a disciple. It's not so easy to become a disciple. Okay. So, right. So, what precautions can we take that we don't deviate from this path, and we are on the way to become a good disciple?
Thanks.
accepting the spiritual master instructions more than any other, our mind or any other circles, any other person's opinions. To stick to that person order only, then only it's possible. What we have seen is when our spiritual master instructing something, we have spiritual authority and we have our service authority. And service authority might be adjustable to us. But spiritual master says to do something, then we thinking that okay, spiritual master another authority will there to under be under service authority. So we adjust, then we lose the mercy, which I seen. And
He's saying there's one service authority, there's a spiritual master authority. Service authority we can adjust. Spiritual master we cannot adjust. What do you say?
means we have to accept spiritual master order as life and soul.
And service authority is order as a line on the water. Good, yeah, we are discussing in this hall only, no problem.
No, you correct me.
That's it, others will correct you.
Yes, please.
Please. What do you say? He's saying,
Yesterday you were saying that writing is a Guru's property.
yeah,
The whole system of management,
yeah,
whole ISKCON, all the facilities which
Yeah.
we have,
yeah. Mike.
all the facilities which we have,
Yeah,
all the opportunities which we are getting, whole ISKCON, whole management is also property of Guru.
yeah. So, yes, here is a good question. The service authority is a spiritual master. How to balance that? He says spiritual master is fixed, service authority is flexible. We'll adjust him as per the instruction of spiritual master.
Practical example.
Yeah, approach.
We may we may accept spiritual authority, but if you don't do service is the
Yeah.
thing which
Yeah.
progress in Krishna.
Yeah.
If it doesn't do service, then it will be like it goes beyond our heads. We may
It's on a sentimental level. Yeah.
we may be imagining I am pure devotee.
I'm pure devotee, yes. Yeah.
Spiritual master is placed when we satisfy the spiritual authority.
Yes. Note his words.
Yes, bro.
Spiritual master is satisfied when we satisfy the service authority. Spiritual master will not always be accompanying us. His instructions are there. What are his instructions? Because in ISKCON, the spiritual masters are also not completely independent.
Why?
Why?
Spiritual master is Sakshat Harit. How he is not independent?
Yeah, he's not independent in a way because we have to keep the society together. It's a multi-guru society.
So he is under some society control.
He's under the GBC.
How is Sakshat Hari? He's under somebody control.
Yeah, because so that is, you are right in a way. Sakshat Hari, because he is a transparent medium. He is a transparent medium.
Of GBC or Krishna?
Both. Yes, both. Because Srila Prabhupada has said, GBC is my mouthpiece. And Srila Prabhupada is coming in a distance. So if we are neglecting GBC, so we are not following Prabhupada. There are many such people who say we follow Prabhupada but not GBC. In Prabhupada's time also, there were devotees like that. He says, Prabhupada, I will follow you, but I will not follow GBC. And Prabhupada said it's a hypocrisy. It's a simply hypocrisy. So in future, many such thoughts will come. So one has to be very, very careful.
Why future only coming?
But it will increase. Because it suits us. Yeah, he has a mic.
His Holiness Raghunath Swami Maharaj was mentioning in the same hall 3 years before, as in front of all the disciples and all the other devotees. Maharaj came here after COVID along with his great Brajahar Prabhu. Maharaj was mentioning that, and he always says that, see, I am coming to meet you all on behalf of Brajahari Prabhu only. If Brajahari Prabhu is happy, he is the authority of this temple. If he is happy, I am happy. And there is no separate look with like you disciple want to please me as a spiritual master. I'll be happy or I'll be pleased when temple authority, temple president Brajahari Prabhu is happy.
Yeah.
There's like Maharaj was like mentioned many times, but in this hall 3 years before personally said this.
Yeah, Prabhu. This we must keep in mind. And that's why when we do disciples course, there's a line of parallel authorities. There's one is spiritual authority, one is managerial authority. You have to balance both with open communication. It's not that managerial authority is like a demon and spiritual authority is everything. It's not like that. We have to balance. We have to give equal weightage to both, and so that we progress. We need both.
And in one lecture, I was hearing Praji regarding the second question. Prabhuji was mentioning that like how he becomes a Sakshat Hare when he is like
Under GBC.
under GBC. So in our system, like in our movement, it is said that even they also voluntarily comes into the part of GBC, even though they have their authority on their disciples who they are initiated, but still in order to run the system, they also accept, they will also step down to give their authority to the temple president or temple management. If they allows, like one example I was hearing that once Guru wanted his disciple to be in his zone. So then the disciple wanted to go to that Guru's zone only. The disciple approached his spiritual master, I want to be in your zone, in your perversion. So Guru said, no, it is okay, but you have to first take the permission of temple president. If temple allows, then I can go, I can allow you. But if temple authority is not happy or satisfied with this, then better it would be safer for you to stay there and serve.
Yeah. So we have to keep this in mind, and we have to practice this. Otherwise, ISKCON will get fragmented.
What?
ISKCON will get divided. There will be different mathas. Yeah, and that's happened with Gaudiya Math. It was not united. So if you have every guru different, then we lose strength. That's why Prabhupada has such a long vision. If this movement has to run for 10,000 years, this has to be one unifying body.
And another to this point is like today morning also Prabhuji was mentioning, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also, they also know the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Rukmini's intentions and things. But still they wanted to please the Supreme Lord. They just came down to that mode, like they had shown their incapability of tolerance and exhibited that to be in line with the Supreme Lord. So Guru in this case, if we interpret, then Guru also, in order like Srila Prabhupada is a preeminent Siksha Guru, in order to follow his line, so they also, there's nothing that they're stepping down or something, but it is like in order to make a parallel line or same line, they can be done. It's not that their potency is less.
Yeah. Yes.
Bro.
You're satisfied? No?
Yeah. So in His Holiness Gaurav Swami Maharaj, that few books I read and everything, he parallelly says that in the society where we are running, the GBC is the governing body, commission is managing all these temples for managing authority. So the managing authorities give only service according to your psychophysical nature, whatever it is there. But the ultimate authority of spiritual master is give Diksha. He has to take your responsibility of taking you back to Godhead. So if that person is so much that we should be surrendering 100% to him under the guidance of GBC. That's what he told us.
Yeah, so same thing. No?
But what's happened, my personal experience, I tell, when His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj was here, so when I was there, New Bhaktan, later also I was there, Maharaj told, so you are here, you go to the Sankirtan bus, you will be happy. So then I should take this my personal structure, if I accept him as Siksha Guru. And then I go to other authorities, see, Maharaj told to go to bus, but I am not feeling well, so I do some other service. So that just told. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, in the name of this justing things, we are indirectly disobeying the spiritual master order. We are taking lightly. So he's also under GBC. The temple president says you don't follow. That's what I am feeling very bad about this situation. Otherwise, understand the both balance situations.
Yeah, actually, you are right. So conditioned soul takes advantage of the both. He has two authorities. Whatever suits him, will take one and reject other.
And we are all conditions, bro.
Yeah, so we'll do like that. So, but Krishna is observing us.
Yes, yes.
So Krishna knows our real intention. Yeah. So that way, yeah. It's not that whatever suits me, I'll adjust accordingly. That one should not do. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You had asked a question.
वो main तो answer नहीं होगा.
कौन सा?
You started asking.
Yeah.
Associating with the Niষ্ঠাvan Bhakti.
Huh?
Being in association with the seriously committed Niষ্ঠাvan.
Seriously committed?
Associating. You asked a question that.
What precautions we should take that we should not get deviated, because like there's so many different revolutionary thoughts are coming. Kranti.
I'm a revolutionary person.
So we should, yeah.
When we keep ourselves in the association of Niষ্ঠাvan devotees, very seriously committed, experienced devotees, then we also make sure that we don't fall apart.
Yes, good. Any other ones? No idea? Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna has given us free will, and when we understand philosophy, then it's up to us. Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj was telling in one of his lecture that Krishna has given us minute free will. So if we desire to serve him, he will give all facility, and in this way we will be engaged in his service. And if we don't desire to serve him, Krishna will give facility.
Yeah.
So sometimes it depends on our.
Yeah, so we have to, how to use our free will properly. That's what the question is. How to ensure that I use my free will properly, always. So that's why having good association, and it's always better to have some mentor with us, so that we can always cross-check our thoughts, and have full trust in him. And always reminding ourselves, I am in this ashram only for the pleasure of Guru Maharaj, for the pleasure of my Guru, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah.
So when you say this mentor system, we see even the mentors on the mentor platform.
Yeah.
So how can I accept these mentors? Because we want to go to beyond the mentor, we just accept the transparency giving Krishna Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So what they say is, don't follow your mind, follow my mind. There is mentor.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to follow the mind. If he is following classroom, maybe we are ready to follow through. But if he himself is mentor, and will become mentor for us.
So choose mentor carefully then. Don't be blind follower.
Yeah.
Okay. Chirvasa vrikshama veni bhuta shiroraha abhavupapatim shanta shikha shantam ivanalam. Yes. Please.
The daughter of King Vidarbha wore old garments, and she was lean and thin because of her vows of austerity. Since she did not arrange her hair, it became entangled and twisted in locks. Although she remained always near her husband, she was as silent and unagitated as the flame of an undisturbed fire.
Yeah, purport, very nice purport, Prabhu. Put it.
When one begins to burn firewood, there is smoke and agitation in the beginning. Although there are so many disturbances in the beginning, once the fire is completely set, the firewood burns steadily. Similarly, when both husband and wife follow the regulative principles of austerity, they remain silent and are not agitated by sex impulses. At such a time, both husband and wife are benefited spiritually. One can attain this stage of life by completely giving up a luxurious mode of life.
Yeah, okay. So, as you said that both of them live together, the Prabhupada is explaining one first life. So, you read from there, since the wife is weaker than the husband.
Since the wife is weaker than the husband, This weakness is expressed in this verse with the words Upa Patim. Upa means near to and are almost equal to. Being a man, the husband is generally more advanced than his wife. Nonetheless, the wife is expected to give up all luxurious habits. She should not even dress nicely or comb her hair. Combining hair combing is one of the main businesses of women. In the Vanaprastha stage, the wife should not take care of her hair. Thus, her hair will become tangled in knots. Consequently, the wife will no longer be attractive to the husband. She herself will no longer be agitated by sex impulses. In this way, both husband and wife can advance in spiritual consciousness. This advanced stage is called Paramahamsa stage. Once it is obtained, both husband and wife can be actually liberated from bodily consciousness. If the disciple remains steady in the service of spiritual master, he need no longer fear falling down into the clutches of Maya.
This is a very powerful line, yeah. So, like we all know the story of Giriraj Swami Maharaj, when he was, and Pasiji was trying to agitate him. He remembered Prabhupada and how he could save himself. So, if he remains steady in the service of spiritual master, no fear of falling down. Okay. Ajanati priyatamam yado paratmangana yatha purvam upacharat.
The daughter of King Vaidarbha continued as usual to serve her husband, who was seated in a steady posture, until she could ascertain that he had passed away from the body.
Yeah. Right.
It appears that the queen did not even talk to her husband while serving. She would simply perform her prescribed duties without talk. Thus, she did not stop rendering service until she could ascertain that her husband had passed away from the body.
Yeah. Yada na uplabhet angro ushamam patre archati asit samvigna hidaya yuta bhrishta mrige yatha.
While she was serving her husband by massaging his legs, she could feel that his feet were no longer warm and could thus understand that he had already passed away from the body. She felt great anxiety upon being left alone. Bereft of her husband's company, she felt exactly as the deer feels upon being separated from its mate.
Yeah. Atmanam shochati dinam abandho Vikalapashrubhi stanavas shishya vipanne susuvaram pararodasa.
Being now alone and a widow in that forest, the daughter of Vidarbha began to lament, incessantly shedding tears, which showed her breast and crying very loudly.
Yeah, purport please.
Figuratively, the queen is supposed to be the disciple of the king. Thus, when the mortal body of the spiritual master expires, his disciple should cry exactly as the queen cries when the king leaves his body. However, the disciple and spiritual master are never separated, because the spiritual master always keeps company with the disciple as long as the disciple follows strictly the instructions of the spiritual master. This is called the association of one words. Physical presence is called Vapu. As long as the spiritual master is physically present, the disciple should serve the physical body of the spiritual master. When the spiritual master is no longer physically existing, the disciple should serve the instructions of the spiritual master.
Uttishta rajarishi imam udadhi mekhalam dasyabhu ksharabandebhyo vibhayatim patumarhasi.
O best of kings, please get up. Get up. Just see this world surrounded by water and infested with rogues and so-called kings. This world is very much afraid, and it is your duty to protect her.
Yeah. So he is saying, "O Guru, protect this earth in which you established bhakti, which is now frightened by those opposing bhakti." Purport.
Whenever an acharya comes, following the superior order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative, he establishes the principles of religion as enunciated in Bhagavad Gita. Religion means abiding by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Religious principles begin from the time one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the Acharya's duty to spread a bona fide religious system and induce everyone to bow down before the Supreme Lord. One executes the religious principles by rendering devotional service, specifically the 9 items like hearing, chanting, and remembering. Unfortunately, when the Acharya disappears, rogues and non-devotees take advantage and immediately begin to introduce unauthorized principles in the name of so-called swamis, yogis, philanthropists, welfare workers, and so on. Actually, human life is meant for executing the orders of the Supreme Lord, and this is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Manmanabha madbhakto
Madhyajimam namaskaru mamameshyasi satya.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me and become my devotee. Offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. The main business of human society is to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times, to become His devotees, to worship the Supreme Lord, and to bow down before Him. The Acharya, the authorized representative of the Supreme Lord, establishes these principles. But when he disappears, things once again becomes disordered. The perfect disciples of the Acharya try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instructions of the spiritual master. At the present moment, practically the entire world is afraid of rogues and non-devotees. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement is started to save the world from irreligious principles. Everyone should cooperate with this movement in order to bring about actual peace and happiness.
We saw when Srila Prabhupada disappeared, there was so much of confusion within ISKCON also. And all these dedicated disciples, they stick together. And that's why we are here. If they wouldn't have served so hard, so nicely, sincerely, we would not have been here. That's why Prabhupada is saying, the perfect disciples of the Acharyas try to relieve the situation by sincerely following the instruction of the spiritual master. Right? Evam vilampanti bala vipane anugata patim patita padayor bharatu rudati ashruni avritayat.
That most obedient wife thus fell down at the feet of her dead husband and began to cry pitifully in that solitary forest. Thus the tears rolled down from her eyes. Thus, as the devoted wife become afflicted at the passing away of her husband, when a spiritual master passes away, the disciples become similarly relieved.
Chitim daru mahi chitva tasyam patyukalevaram adipya chanu marane vinpanti manodade.
She then prepared a blazing fire with firewood and placed the dead body of her husband upon it. When this was finished, she lamented severely and prepared herself to perish in the fire with her husband.
Yeah. Papat.
It is the long-standing tradition of the Vedic system that a faithful wife dies along with her husband. This is called Sahamarana.
So Sati Pratha was there, Britishers stopped it, and Prabhupada is saying when the Pandu left his body, Kunti and Madri. So Madri did Sati. Second paragraph, Prabhupada. Second paragraph.
This indicates that a devotee's wife must be prepared to act in such a way. Similarly, a devoted disciple of the spiritual master would rather die with the spiritual master than fail to execute the spiritual master's mission. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes down upon this earth to re-establish the principles of religion, so as a representative, the spiritual master also comes to re-establish religious principles. It is the duty of the disciple to take charge of the mission of the spiritual master and execute it properly. Otherwise, the disciple should decide to die along with the spiritual master. In other words, to execute the will of the spiritual master, the disciple should be prepared to lay down his life and abandon all personal considerations.
Very strong statement. So, if a spiritual master has departed, the disciple should also depart with him. If he is surviving, why Kunti was surviving? Because to take care of the children. So similarly, if a disciple wants to live, his only purpose to live is to take care of the mission of the spiritual master. Otherwise, if he cannot take care of the mission of spiritual master, better he should also sahabaran, he should end his life. I know. That is the thing. So whatever life we have, it should be only for the purpose of the pleasing spiritual master, serving his mission. Okay. With one ready to die, Srila Prabhupada was ready to die. Prabhupada took such a big risk, old age, going all alone, facing 2 heart attacks. So Prabhupada literally did this. He was ready to sacrifice his life for the mission of his spiritual master. Right? Yeah.
We see in the many scriptures many examples of these Sati Sagam, and the wife is entering the fire of her husband after death. And he's also mentioned that when spiritual master is living, the disciple also should leave it. Is there any examples in the scriptures where this is done? And secondly, when the disciples supposed to leave only to follow his spreading his missions and take care of that, but if not able to do it, so what he has to do, supposed to do it. He don't want to die also, he don't want to follow also.
So then we are not a good disciple. We are not a disciple. We are not. We are initiated but not disciples.
How is it? I initiated means I am disciple of this Guru.
No. Initiation is the beginning.
But still I am his disciple. Right?
No, disciple is the perfection. Initiation is the beginning. Initiation is the beginning of becoming a disciple. So when I'll become a disciple, I'll go back to Godhead. Yeah. So we are in the process of becoming a disciple. We are just initiated. So we will remain initiated, some Sukriti, next life again we'll get a chance. That.
Oh, it is like that.
Yeah.
I thought once initiative is done, spiritual master somehow will take to back to Godhead. And I can say that, so I'm disciplined, so and so spiritual master, my spiritual master will take.
No. It's my responsibility. So just taking initiation is not sufficient. It's the beginning.
Then when I do any mistake, then they blame that he is so and so spiritual master. The blame goes to my spiritual master. I'm not just initiated, I'm not disabled. Still my spiritual master get the blame for my doing mistake. How can I see in the society?
Yeah. Spiritual master takes the blame because he has accepted such a useless disciple like me. So he takes the blame, he takes the reaction. So spiritual master also has to be very careful while accepting the disciples. So if he has accepted a useless disciple like me, and I do all kinds of nonsensical activities.
But what we see in the ISKCON is if they are recommended by any temple management or counselors, they just accept it, even they don't know it. So how can we see that?
So the temple president will also get the reaction. No one is reaction free. One who recommends also he'll get the reaction. It's not, it's completely, everyone has a responsibility. You know.
Nobody, as it is informed that when the Guru just gives the initiation, and this is just the beginning. So in this case, person commits any sins, the candidate commits any sins, still it goes to the Maharaj, or is it still with the person who is the offender?
It's not that if I commit a murder, the Guru will be hanged.
But what circumstances?
So if I commit a murder, I will be hanged, but Guru will get the reaction for accepting such a disciple. He will not get the reaction of that sin, but he will get the reaction for a sin why he has accepted such a disciple.
No, but sometimes the Guru doesn't have a choice. For example,
Yes, Joe, whatever. That's a risk. That's why the Guru takes a risk. Out of mercy, compassion, they take a risk. That's why all these Gurus, they have such a bad health.
Okay, and the extent, what suppose we take the example of murder.
Yeah.
The person who is actually committing murder, he gets the punishment for this. So what ways Guru, to what extent does he gets a punishment?
He gets the punishment. I don't know what extent, but he gets the punishment for accepting such a disciple.
Okay, like some definitely, because Like my father is there.
Yeah.
Some karma will go to him because I have been his son.
Yes, that. Yeah. Right. So it's a very serious business, taking initiation, giving initiation, and then we have to become a good disciple. So just taking initiation is not, it's the beginning of becoming a disciple. And the ideal disciple is that he'll always be willing to give up his life for fulfilling the mission of spiritual master. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Push.
In Bhagavatam it is said, Eka prasuyate jantureka eva praliyate. Everyone is born alone, he will die alone, and whatever he does, he will get reaction for this. So how Guru gets?
Yeah, but network of karma is very intricate.
Complicated.
Why I am born in a particular family, so it's all karma. So with my action, others are also getting affected. But mainly I am responsible for my elevation or my fall down. So I have to take responsibility for my action. So Guru has to take responsibility for accepting such disciples. That way.
This currently, as we have seen, many times devotees are initiated, but a huge number of devotees even struggle to follow the principles in 16 rounds. So talking, this is a very big thing. What practical we can do apart from our own trying to become better
Disciple.
What we can do to practically alleviate the situation? A huge number of devotees we can see that.
Yeah. What can we do? I think mainly is education and training. Because normally people feel just take initiation, then they have gone back to God. They're already in Vaikuntha. They say the initiation means final, but the initiation means beginning. They say they take initiation, they've given all their karmas to Guru, and now they are free from karmas, and now they're back, they are free away. No. So I think more of education, training, setting good examples, being strict in monitoring system, recommending system.
I see many times the leaders only who are recommending. They are only, at that level only problem is there.
Correct.
So everyone gets reaction, and sometimes we have seen the other cases also. And sometimes we are liberal, and sometimes after initiation, that person becomes very serious. The other cases also are there. I've seen that. I've practically seen. I've recommended some people. Some have given, some have cheated me, and some have I put faith in. They have come up also. So it's one has to take risk, but it depends the intention in which we are taking the risk. Intention is just to increase the number, then I get a reaction. Intention is to help this person. Sometimes, we want to help this person, we want to elevate that person. Sometimes stopping initiation helps a person, sometimes giving initiation, although is not fully qualified, helps a person. We have to judge his mentality, his circumstances. So sometimes when he is initiated, he gets very enthusiastic and he goes all out of the way. And sometimes when we don't recommend him, he feels so discouraged, he gives up. So that the leader who is recommending, he gets mature by experience and he can judge. So sometimes there is a misjudgment also, wrong judgment also. So for that we get reaction also. So there's a risk is involved. But the intention, the consciousness in which you are taking the risk, that matters.
Currently, in general devotees, two wrong conceptions float. One is, as you said, that just take initiation and then Marne is variable Riksha. Second is that others, they see that what is the difference. Sometimes a non-initiated devotee may be much better committed and all, ancient devotees may be
Yeah.
very much falling short of standards. So then the whole process becomes
Yeah.
like losing value or
Yeah. So we have to make it very valuable. It's a very serious process. So it all depends on our education. So when we are training the young boys in your area of influence, so we should, at least whatever I am in my area of influence, I should train them nicely. The value of initiation, the value of guru-disciple relationship.
yesterday you were telling Guruji that the expansion in India has happened very, very fast.
Yeah.
And now to handle it is becoming challenge.
Yeah.
So then practical situation comes that peer pressure or society pressure that
Management pressure.
everybody has to perform, and that also happens. That oh, they are doing this much, that temple did that big festival, that temple did that big preaching, and what you people are doing. That helps in some way to pull us out of lethargy.
Competition.
At the same time, it has a flip side also.
Yeah. Everything has a flip side. So we should not, leave the basics. Stick to the basics always. Although we may try to do such things, but not leaving the basics. No, we should keep the basics intact, then we are safe.
And as you said, there is never influence, circle of influence. Right?
Whatever you can do, you should do.
Regarding this, like, this is sensitive topic and very keen details to be taken care, especially in this kind of initiation things and things. Two things which, like, today His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he had written to his disciples stating that this only Guru needs to be taken all the sins. If devotees who had been initiated and are not following the principles and again entering into the sinful life, Guru has to take up this sins. So Maharaj was requesting everyone who are into recommending the candidate for initiation to be taken care, so that Guru should not suffer.
And those who are recommending, they will also get reaction.
This is another, few years before his Gaurang Prabhu, was a personal meeting, Brajhar Prabhu, myself and Gaurang Prabhu here in Vada. So Gaurang Prabhu was mentioning, he said he had, for a long time Maharaj did not give initiation, but a few years before he started giving. That, before that, like Brajhar Prabhu was requesting Gaurang Prabhu to ask Maharaj to give initiation. Then Gaurang Prabhu said, Prabhu, Maharaj is very strict. What he said is, it's very difficult thing. He had quoted one example. He had given a list. We have got so many recommendations for initiation, but Maharaj said, I'll give only 100 people. So there are almost 10,000, more than 10,000 lists. So he said, I'll give only 100. So now the selection process, he said, before selecting, then he said to Maharaj, 10,000 people are waiting for initiation. How can I select 100? Better I leave this post, I will go to some other place and I will do some service. Please don't involve me in this. Then Maharaj said, no, you have to give it. You have to do it. See, you remember and share this message to everyone. Whoever recommending or whoever selecting a person for initiation, they are also getting the quantity of sin. If he is wrong, then you have to take his sin also. So now you select 100 people. So that's why marriage was like, their initiation process is very.
So what to talk of initiation, even if we are counselor, we get the reaction.
Counselor?
Yes. Wherever there is some relationship is there, reactions are bound to come. Yeah. Sometimes we are very fond of collecting counsels. So if we are collecting counsels, then we have to take responsibility of it. If you're not able to take full responsibility, we'll get the reactions.
But I'm doing on behalf of others, why I will get reaction?
So, I mean, wherever there's a relationship is there, so I have to do my duty properly. It's not reaction free. I can't just enjoy the facilities and don't give up, do my duty.
Till now, what we understood is I can recommend anyone. The Guru will take his
No, no,
decision. I'll get lucky.
no. Wherever I'm getting some facilities in this material world, there's a price to pay. Along with the facilities come the duties. If I'm now performing my duty and just enjoying the facilities, reactions.
I heard this with the same of workers also. Whoever we are recruiting in the management,
Everything.
if you are giving salary but he is not taken care or involved in services, then the management has to bear that consequences of recruiting him.
So, karmano gehna gati. Okay, right? Okay, few verses are left, 15 verses. Second.
So we have not that one important thing is that from IIYC, ISKCON India Youth Council. So they have sent one form requested Sundar to get it filled from all brahmacharis. So Prabhu has requested to please fill. So we'll wait here few minutes. It is you sent the link Prabhu? आपके वक्त ये ग्रुप पे लिंक आ गया है. प्लीज यहीं बैठ के 2 मिनट 4 मिनट स्टॉप कर देंगे
भाई को
क्यों आश्रम इम्प्रूव करने के लिए रिसर्च कर रहे हैं पूरा इंडिया इस्कॉन टेम्पल्स के डिवोटीज के फीडबैक फिर हाउ इस्कॉन आश्रम्स ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम्स कैन बी इम्प्रूव उसके ऊपर फिर सर्वे करके
कंपलसरी नहीं ना ऑप्शनल
इनको डर लग रहा है भरूंगा तो रिएक्शन तो नहीं मिलेगा. मैंने कुछ एक कमेंट कर दिया. But not filling the form and get reaction.
Really? How bro? Without action also reaction.
Okay.